Origins of Creation and the Universe by Debra Hill. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, God created the heavens and the earth. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, God created light. In Genesis chapter 1, verses 6 through 8, God made a firmament. In Genesis chapter 1, verses 9 and 10, God created dry land and seas. And in Genesis chapter 1, verses 11 and 12, God created grass, seed, and fruit. On the first day of creation, God created the heavens and the earth. God's Spirit moved upon the waters. God created light and divided it from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness night. On the second day of creation, God made a firmament among the waters and then divided the waters from the waters. God called the firmament heaven. On the third day of creation, God gathered the waters under the heavens into one place and caused dry land to appear. God called the dry land earth and the gathered waters seas. God created grass, herb-yielding seed, and tree-yielding fruit. In Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 18, God created lights in the firmament of heaven. In Genesis chapter 1, verses 20 and 21, God caused the waters to bring forth great whales, living creatures, and winged fowl. On the fourth day of creation, God created lights in the firmament of heaven. God made two great lights, a greater light to rule the day, and a lesser light to rule the night. God made the stars also. God set the lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and night, dividing the light from darkness. On the fifth day of creation, God caused the waters to bring forth great whales, living creatures, and winged fowl. God blessed the creatures, telling them to be fruitful and multiply, filling the waters in the seas and letting fowl multiply in the earth. In Genesis chapter 1, verses 24 and 25, God made the beast of the earth, cattle, and everything that creepeth upon the earth. In Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 and 27, God created man. On the sixth day of creation, God made the beast of the earth, after his kind, cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. God created man, both male and female, in God's image, having dominion over all fish of the sea, fowl of the air, cattle, and over every creeping thing on the earth. God saw that everything he had created was very good. On the seventh day of creation, the heavens and the earth were complete, and God's work was finished. God rested, blessed the seventh day, and sanctified it. My own beliefs about the origin of the universe. I believe that the origin of the universe did not magically develop out of nowhere, or from sources such as the Big Bang Theory. For example, the Big Bang Theory suggests that high density and high temperature caused the universe to begin developing and also expanding. Through this development and expansion, subatomic particles and atoms formed stars and galaxies as a result of large clouds passing through gravity. I believe that the universe is much too large for such an occurrence that would require a vast amount of these subatomic particles and atoms in order to form all of the beautiful galaxies and wondrous constellations that can be seen today. All other theories I have researched in addition to the Big Bang Theory cannot account for the vastness of the universe either. Furthermore, I believe that the origin of the universe comes from God. God created the universe. I believe that the origin of the universe comes from God because He created it. I believe that He created it, and I am not saying that the scientific explanation within the Big Bang Theory and how the subatomic particles and atoms can help to create stars and galaxies isn't possible. Rather, what I am saying is there must be an even higher source, an authentic, genuine, and all-powerful source that would be able to take these particles and atoms and then thrust them into such a forceful and yet immaculate and beautiful universe that exists today. Why I believe God created the universe? God is the sole creator of all things. I believe that God created the universe because of the majestic, beautiful, and ingenious way in which it has been created. I don't believe that any other source could possibly reproduce or duplicate our Earth, our solar system, our galaxies, nebulae, and the many constellations all around us. I believe that God is the sole creator of all things. In Genesis 1, it is told that God is the creator and ruler over everything. In addition, Schreiner mentions that when God created the world, He showed that He was a sovereign God and Lord over any and all other powers in the world. I have to agree with Schreiner on this. Furthermore, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 19 says, "The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding He established the heavens." I have yet to find another belief system more reliable, true, and sensible than this. How do my beliefs about origins impact my worldview? My beliefs about the origin of the universe impact my view of God. My beliefs about the origin of the universe impact my view of God in ways that I could never imagine. More and more, every day and over the years, I have learned to appreciate the beauty of creation all around me. From the most unique and seldom seen bird to the strangest looking insect, I find myself in awe at the amazing and beautiful creatures and creations that have been put here on this earth for us to see, study, and appreciate. In addition, the blessings and miracles that have abounded in my life are occurrences in which no scientist, no magician, no shaman, or doctor could ever bring about. Furthermore, this is the same case in my beliefs about the origin of the universe, as when I look out across the sky, whether it is early morning or a dark, starry night, it only reminds me of how big, great, and awesome God really is. It only serves to remind me that there is none like Him. Only God can do these things. This is how my beliefs about the origin of the universe impact my view of God in ways that I could never have imagined. My beliefs about the origin of the universe also impact my view of humanity. My beliefs about the origin of the universe impact my view of humanity in ways I would not have thought of years ago. I have found that life is always a learning process, and through my own personal journey, times of victory and triumph, sorrow and loss, I've experienced those great moments in which I was able to help someone else, or they were able to help me. On the other side of this, however, there were times where I felt like I was that little tiny dot on that bigger tiny little dot called Earth, in which, in my time of need, God could not see me or hear my need. However, just as I have been able to help others in their difficult times, and they have been able to reciprocate the same back to me, God always showed me that although the universe is large, and He created it, He makes the waves to move in the ocean and the stars to come out at night. Then He calms those waves and causes the sun to rise every single day. God can do big things and can move mountains in order to meet my need and the needs of others. He has always come through for me and reminded me that his Son died on the cross for me, and has always reminded me that I have value. So I continue on, but with a clause, and that is to also let others know that I care about them, that I love them regardless of how difficult life can get, and that I be of service to do whatever I can to help. If God can create this universe and everything in it, I believe that there's always room for a better and more effort-filled approach to humanity. Furthermore, one of my main objectives is to remind others that God has a great future in store for them. Whether they are tired, hungry, poor, feel unloved, abandoned, forsaken, outcast, and the list goes on. If God can do what he has done for me, he can do it for them too. This is how my beliefs about the origin of the universe impact my view of humanity in ways I would not have thought of years ago. My beliefs about the origin of the universe also impact my responsibility to care for the earth. My beliefs about the origin of the universe impact my responsibility to care for the earth more today than ever before. Because I realize how at times over my lifetime, I didn't see the whole picture. I remember as a young girl doing something so seemingly innocent as throwing a gum wrapper on the ground instead of throwing it in the garbage. I remember another time where instead of putting my tricycle away where it was supposed to go, when I was finished playing, I left it parked out by the mailbox in front of my house, and the next day the garbage man got out of his truck and put it in the garbage truck. Lessons like these, though years ago, have taught me to pick up after myself and put trash where it is supposed to go and so on. However, it doesn't end there. Over the years, between my own personal life experiences, along with my studies, I have delved in a bit deeper into the issue of my responsibility to care for the earth. Now, while I'm not an environmentalist and don't agree with every bit of jargon when it comes to climate change or global warming, I do believe that God gave us this beautiful earth so that we can indeed be able to enjoy its beauty. With that, I believe that we also have a responsibility to take care of our planet in as many ways as we can. In my experience and research, I have been able to confirm this responsibility for myself and many others who are doing what they can in order to have a better future and environment when it comes to caring for the earth. I exercise this responsibility in promoting the use of solar energy, as I believe that God was a genius when he created the sun, and he knew that it would be able to generate enough power for the entire world. Although I know that I cannot do everything on my own to help care for the earth, I feel that I am doing what I can. Furthermore, because God created the earth, I feel that it should be respected. This is how my beliefs about the origin of the universe impact my responsibility to care for the earth more today than ever before. This is how my beliefs about origins impact my worldview as a whole. In conclusion, I feel that my beliefs about origins and how they impact my worldview are logical. While not everyone will believe the same way that I do or will not see things in the same light as I have shared, my hope is that we will all make the efforts needed to change our perspective about certain things. My hope is that we will be open-minded and open-hearted when it comes to our own worldview as opposed to the worldviews of others, in order that we can know God and get to know him more and more every day, that we can have love and care for humanity the way that God does, and that we can take responsibility and do our part when it comes to taking better care of our planet. This is how my beliefs about origins impact my worldview as a whole. References: Schreiner, T.R., 2013. The King in His Beauty, A Biblical Theology of the Old and New Testaments, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Baker, academic.